Good day, good day, good day. C. Nagato Kells here. I am presenting to y'all a pilot episode of a visual and audio podcast that I am calling the Scouting Report. In this podcast, I and several others will be discussing the sport of boxing, more specifically, professional boxing. Here and there, we will talk about the amateur ranks, yet for now, in this pilot episode of the Scouting Report, I will be speaking on a highly anticipated bout between Charlo and Canelo. Also up and coming talents such as Nesta Bravo, Kurt Scooby, Sean McCallman, and a few others. Also a general breakdown of Oscar Valdez's previous fight with Emmanuel Navarrete. So let's get down to the scouting report, starting with, of course, Charlo and Canelo. Let's talk about Charlo. Charlo has been, let's stick to the facts here, he's been inactive for relatively about 2 years, if I'm not mistaken. He's jumping up 2 weight classes. So for him to get the W, he has to be faster and can never stand still in front of Canelo. Charlo does have a habit of standing still in front of his opponents. He's had trouble with his last opponent, Castano. Yes, he got the victory. Yes, he got a knockout, yet struggled to get it at 154. So this can be a problem going up 2 weight classes. Now let's just say he's weight training himself, and because of that, he's having difficult time knocking people out. So let's say he has more power in this fight. Power isn't necessarily everything because Canelo has been in the ring with light heavyweights that can bang. Bivol, okay, faded Kovalev, yet power doesn't leave. So he's been in the ring with people who are heavy-handed and hit with power and have skill. So Charlo has to keep in mind he's not in the ring with a slouch. He can't for once think that he's fading. He has to assume that he's fighting the best version of Canelo because Canelo is going in there to win. So I suggest that he sticks to his jab, he sticks to his speed, he sticks to moving, never standing still, never throwing a punch in the center line, never keeping his head in the same spot when he throws, because more than likely, Canelo will be able to walk through his punches, and if he's standing in the same spot when he throws, he's going to get caught because Canelo is walking through his punches. Now, on Canelo, Canelo cannot stick to knocking people out. He has to stick to boxing. He needs to use his jab. He needs to use his head movement properly. He needs to step properly because sometimes he doesn't step properly. We'll get into that later. Canelo also needs to let his hands go and go to the body. He has to rip the body continuously for all 12 rounds. He can't leave any doubt in anyone's mind that he's fading because that can play into the judge's mind even though it shouldn't be that way because let's be real, scoring in professional boxing is highly subjective. So this is why I don't get into robbery talks too much because quite frankly it's all subjective even though I feel like that's some BS. Yet move forward, that's all we can do, move forward and learn. So to summarize that Charlo can win if he sticks to being faster and not being complacent or standing still. He must use his jab, he must go to the body, and he must not stand in the same spot when he throw any punch, even a jab, because Canelo is great with timing. Canelo cannot do what he's been doing in his previous few fights, winging for a knockout by going to the body and not faithfully using his jab and using his ring generalship in order to get the W. So Canelo, be you, go to the body, use your jab, don't be so complacent. Charlo, use your jab, be fast, don't be so complacent. Now, on to Oscar Valdez and Emmanuel Navarrete. What I saw in that fight was that Oscar Valdez has a problem. He standing square in front of his opponent, standing still too much, not using his jab enough. Yet whenever he did use his jab, he had some type of success. Now Navarrete, at points he was just out there throwing for the sake of throwing because Oscar Valdez wasn't doing anything to make him miss, make him pay consistently. That's very, very important in the sport of boxing, making your opponent miss and making them pay. There were times where he'll make a miss, but he just wouldn't make him pay because he was either out of position or his mind just wasn't in the right place. It seemed as though, to me, he was trying to figure out what style he wants to use. And and that plays a factor in fighting. If your mind is not made up on what you want to do or how you're going to strategize or plan, you'll have a difficult time adapting and figuring out exactly what you need to do in order to get the W. And that's why I say it's not good to have a plan. It's better to strategize because in Emmanuel's case, he didn't go out there and necessarily slug. He stayed on the outside and fought everything off of his jab. It wasn't a great jab, yet he used a jab and he kept using it. And it got to a point where he could throw any punch he wanted to and it was landing. So you can't take anything away from that at all, no matter what his technique looked like. So kudos to Emmanuel for that victory. Oscar Valdez, I suggest you go back to the drawing board and figure out exactly how you want to fight. It's not that you can't add your own to the style that your trainer is showing you. I'm pretty sure your trainer doesn't want you to go in there and get beat up because if you're using a technique that doesn't exactly work for you, you need to tweak it a little so that it can work for you and so you don't get hit so much and so you can flow better and you can know exactly what you want to do and be consistent in it. So again, consistency is key in anything in life. Anything in life. So I would say to Oscar Valdez to again go back to the drawing board, figure out what's working for you, what's not working for you, and make up in your mind exactly how you want to go about fighting and discuss and train with your trainer and hopefully great things will happen from there for you in the process of doing that. And I wish you the best in your career. Same thing for Emmanuel. Now on to upcoming prospects and talent in boxing. Nesto Bravo and Will Madeira. They have a fight today on August 18th, 2023, which is today, as I just said. Nesto Bravo, he is a how you say he's trying to be a slick boxer at times, and sometimes he knows his distance, sometimes he doesn't. It seems to me once he gets the jitters out, he knows exactly what he wants to do, which is expected to be at this stage of boxing. Yet when you get to the elite level, you want to know exactly what you want to do and exactly how you're going to do it and adapt from round one on to round 12. Yet for the most part, as in terms of his career building and him learning, I like what I see so far. There's some tweaking that needs to be done on the defensive end in terms of dropping his hands every time he throws punches. I won't say every time, sometimes. Will Madeira, he's good. He has a good base. He has somewhat of a good base. He knows how to move. He knows his distancing. Yet when pressure or when someone who knows how to box any type of way, he doesn't do so good. So in my scouting report for Ernesto Bravo versus Will Madeira, I'm leaning towards Ernesto Bravo to win this fight because he seems to be more of a boxer and Will Madeira has problems with boxers. Yeah, so yet, however, though, if Will Madera wants to win, he has to have consistent pressure, knowing his distance, knowing when to attack, when to stay off of the line, things of that nature. Nestor Bravo, he needs to keep his hands up when he throws because he can get caught on his way coming in. And yeah, keep your hands up when you throw punches. Start with that. On to the next fight that I've been looking forward to, which is also happening again today. Scooby versus Carmano. I have Scooby winning because let's just be honest, he's just a physical tank. This dude is just a physical phenom. He doesn't look like he should be in that weight class. Yet, from me being a physical trainer and also being a fighting instructor, I can tell he probably wasn't that big in muscle when he was younger. He probably built those muscles through athletics. So that's a lot of what we call pink muscle, which is how he's able to move the way he's able to, even with so much muscle. So I say Nestor Bro, Scooby is. I feel like Scooby's gonna get the win on this one. I think he's too much for Kamana, and it probably won't go the distance because of how physically dominant Scooby is. Another fight that I've been looking at that's happening tonight, Money Powell versus Sean McCollum. I like them both. If you ask me, that's a 50-50 fight. Money Powell is a basic boxer with some athletics. He has some good reflexes. He's consistent. He does, however, though he does drop his hands whenever he throws punches, which is not too good because someone can catch you in between your punches. Sean McCollum, he's also good. He's more of an athletic fighter. He has some ring IQ to him. Yeah, sometimes he wastes. Out of all the footage that I've seen of him, I haven't found much yet. Out of all the things that I've seen, I feel like he wastes too much sometimes. So Money Powell may win a decision based upon him just being consistent. Sean McCollum may hit Money Powell, and we're gonna find out if he has a chin or not. So those fights look like to be a foreshadowing to what's to come in boxing because when you look at these prospects, you look to see, or is this the next unified champion, or he's just another champion, or he's just another journeyman. So I feel like Scooby is another champion in the making. I feel like Money Powell and Sean McCollum are both champions in the making, yet they both got to fight each other. So whoever wins from this, hopefully they learn from it. Whoever loses in that match, they'll learn from it. Same thing from the other fighters, especially Oscar Valdez. Special message to Oscar Valdez. Think about what you want to do in your career and how you want to go forward because taking punishment is not a good thing. The name of the game is hit, not get hit. Sometimes we go through things in life and it affects us in the ring. It happens. We should sit back, learn, mentally heal, emotionally heal, spiritually heal wherever you need to heal. Yeah, go back to the drawing board and look back at the basics. Go back to the basics and figure out what it is that you're doing and or not doing that's preventing you from taking your career to the next step. So again, C Nagato Kells here, and this was the Scouting Report. Oh, by the way, like, comment, share, subscribe. Let me know what you think about the background, what you think about the pilot, what can I do to make things better, what you didn't like. Let me know. Peace.